All right, lesson 2H, arithmetic operation of complex numbers. Problem 1, graph f of x equals x squared plus 1. So it is just a quadratic function shifted up 1 unit. So the graph looks something like this, something like this. All right, something like that. So the question is, what are the solutions of this function? What are the solutions? And solutions is where it crosses. Even another way of asking sometimes is, what are the roots? So this parabola is going up forever. So the lowest you'll ever get is right here. And then it's just going to go up forever, up. So that parabola will never cross that green line here. So it has no real solutions. That's why we call it no real solutions. As in, it has no real solutions. So what does that mean? That it might have some fake solutions? Or non-real? So here, let's see, these are called complex numbers. How can we figure out these complex numbers? Let's say that it does have some solutions. So let's say that where would it be that x squared plus 1 is equal to 0? X squared plus 1 equal to 0. Let's see if we can figure that out. So if I was to solve this equation right here, x squared plus 1 equals 0, what would be step 1? Anybody? Minus 1. Just kind of go off of something you kind of know. So you're going to get x squared equals negative 1. And so now what do we do here? It's called what? Square root both sides? Square root both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and square root on both sides. And then this square root and this cancels out. So I'm going to get x equals, whenever I square root it, I'm going to get a plus or minus. Square root of negative 1. So the solutions are going to be that x is going to equal to square root of negative 1. And the other solution is that x equals negative square root of negative 1. So whoever came up with this, just by definition, that person defined it that square root of negative 1 is an imaginary number called I. So x is equal to I is a solution, and x equal negative I is another solution. So these are two solutions. So it has two imaginary solutions. How can we prove that this is true? All right, let's try to prove it that this is true. So let's prove it. So I'm saying that x equal to I is a solution and x equal negative I is a solution. So let's put it in factor form and multiply it out and see if we get this back right here, this equation here. Let's do that. So I'm going to say that f of x is going to equal to, f of x is going to equal to, if I move this back and put it as a factor form, I'm going to minus I. And then I'm going to get x minus I as a factor. X minus I as a factor, and then I'm going to move this back over here. It's going to be plus I. Plus I. So I'm going to get x plus I. And I'm going to multiply this out. So let's multiply this out. Let's see what do we get. What is x times x? What is x times x? X squared. And what is x times I? Ix, I guess we can call it Ix. And then we can go negative I times x is going to be negative Ix. And then I'm going to multiply negative I times positive I. A negative times a positive is a negative. I got I squared. And that is equal to f of x. Here in the middle, ix, positive ix and minus ix cancels out. So I'm going to get f of x is equal to x squared minus, okay. What did I say I was anyways? I said that x is equal to I, where I is the square root of -1. Let me plug in I equals square root of -1 in for I here. So let's go ahead and plug it in. I is square root of -1. And then square it. So what's going to happen there between the square root and the square, what's going to happen there is that the square root is called square root of, and the square cancels out. So then I'm going to get f of x is then equal to x squared minus a -1. But what is minus a -1? F of x equals what? X squared. What's minus a -1? Oh, wow, look at that. X squared plus 1. That's what we have. It's true. So it has two imaginary solutions. Just look up there. I'm going to do this again. Look up there. So we're saying that x squared plus 1 is equal to 0, minus 1 both sides. Square rooted on both sides. X is equal to plus or minus I, because the square root of -1 is I. Then multiply it out by doing the proof. Multiply it out. F of x equals that, as if you put it in a factor form. Cancel out the middle. And we know that we said I is the square root of -1, and then that square root and the square cancels out, it is x squared plus 1. So by definition, I is equal to square root of -1. That's the definition. I equals square root of -1. Let's go. So what does this entail now? Let's go. Now let's go ahead and simplify numbers using I. So now we can work with square root of negative numbers. So what is the square root of -2? Well, step 1, separate the imaginary part from the real part. So how do I do that? Okay, let me go step by step. Would you agree, like it's logic, would you agree that square root of -2 is the same as square root of 2 times -1? Would that be true, yes or no? Logically speaking, yes, because 2 times -1 is -2. Yes. Now I'm going to make a little house. I call house the radical. One house for the positive, or the real, and one for the negative. So I'm going to put one little square root of 2, put it here, and then put the square root of -1 here. Yep. That is allowed. That is allowed. Square root of 2, you can put that in a calculator and it gives you a decimal, about 1.4 something, but we don't want that. Leave it as square root of 2. What is the square root of -1? I. So the answer to this is square root of 2i. That is final answer. Leave it as that. Your turn. Let's go. Not really. Let's do it together. All right, step 1. Separate the negative, the real from the imaginary, or the negative, I guess. Yeah. square root of 12 times square root of negative 1. Okay, yes. Am I going to talk about gel cells and stuff? Because I'm recording. So, this is a gel cell, and somebody got wrongfully convicted. Shouldn't be in jail. Should be free. And when I'm talking about these wrongfully convicted numbers, they are perfect square numbers. What are those numbers? 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, 169, 196, 225, 256, 296. Those are called perfect square numbers. On and on and on. So let's get that ready to go. He's supposed to come out. So he's in the waiting cell. What number am I talking about that's inside of 12 that needs to get separated? Perfect square number is going to be 4 times 3. Yes or no? 4 times 3 is 12. Do you know that? 4 times 3 is 12. Yes. Do you know that square root of 4 is 2 because he should be free? He's going to get out of jail, get free. So square root of 4 is 2. 2 square root of 3. And what did I forget about this one? What is that? I. There we go. Your turn. Let's go. Let's see. Pretty much that's it. That's a lesson. I could even stop here. But let's see if you can run with it. Go ahead and do that problem. If I'm going to continue on with my little story, negative 3 is a bad guy, man. He should be probably in jail. It's a negative. Now, but it's outside of jail. He's outside. Leave him alone. He's outside. And we're going to separate the negative from the positive. Yep. 36 and negative square root of negative 1. Yep. Man, he should have never been in jail. He was... What's the square root of 36? Can you separate 4 times 9 is 30? No. What's the square root of 36? So and then that one is out free. Now he can mingle with free numbers. Isn't it negative 18? Yes or no? So and then isn't it I right there? Yes? But this guy's gonna he already influenced him. He's bad now. I'm gonna go back in there. All right, let's go. Number 5. So 5 is outside. Separate the negative from the positive. 18 and negative 1. Just get that one in there. Get them out. What are the 2 numbers for 18? Man, if somebody says 6 and 3, I'm like, you know how to multiply, you know some, but the right numbers are. I wouldn't hire you as my lawyer because you're not doing. Square root of negative 1 is I. Square root of 9. What's square root of 9? Okay, you got him out. Square root of 9 is what? 3 times 5 is 15 square root of 2i. Yep. Adding complex numbers. Let's go adding complex numbers. So, real can combine with real. Imaginary combines with imaginary. So let's see if I can make it any easier than this. Something happened here. Like it's suggesting you to do something. Interesting. You're playing around here. Which one? What do you think we should do? You're like, oh, I'm colorblind. I think I got some glasses that help with that. 8 plus 2 is because it's telling you to do what? What is it telling you to add 8 and 2 is 10, and then add the imaginary part is what? 7, 9? All right, let's go. Number 7. Here we go. Brian, here we go. Oh, it's a little, oh man, that was a little off. What's the answer to that, Brian? Loud. 2, and then what's the imaginary part going to be? So 2 minus 3i? Yeah? So what's the answer? What's the whole answer? 2 minus 3i? 2 minus. It's too easy. All right, let's go. Number 8. Let's see. Let me walk around. Let me give you about 3 minutes here, and then I'm going to walk around, see if you got the answer. I'm like, I don't feel I need to be teaching it. Like, so easy. This one is subtracting. Okay? You're subtracting. Let's see what you got. I'll give you about 2 minutes. I'm going to walk around. Okay, I got it. All right. Let's see who's got it. I'm gonna walk around. Got this one. Still working on it, Brian? Huh? Oh, okay. Yep, good job here. So this basically goes back to, do you know how to add positive and negative numbers? I don't know. Maybe sometimes I don't even want to teach it because you already know it. So I don't know. For those that are maybe getting it wrong, I don't know what to tell you. So let's put a negative. There's an invisible number 1 right there. You distribute that. Negative 1 times 7 is negative 7. Negative times a negative equals a positive. Bring down negative 2 plus 3i. Negative 2 and negative 7 is negative 9 and 7i. Let's go. Next, let's do number 9. Whatever. Yeah. Yep, I got it. It's too easy. Too easy. What is it, everybody? 7 minus 11i. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Number 10. Okay, here we go. Number 10. Without me teaching it, what's the answer, anybody? What is it?
35i squared. 35i squared.
Yes, but okay, let's go. Multiply complex numbers. 5 times 7, it is 35. I times I is I squared. Okay, so you're like, so what is I squared? Okay. So let me go. Let's go over that. So what did we say I was? What is I by definition? What is I? A letter? What is I? What in mathematics? What did I say I was? Square root of -1. Yes or no? And if I square this, because that's what I want I squared. If I square one side, what you do to one side, you do to the. Yes? So then I squared is going to equal 2. What's going to happen between the square root and the square? Is that going to cancel? Oh, there it is. What is I squared? I squared is -1. You know that, huh? So I squared is what? I squared is what? You just going to remember that? I squared is what? -1? And what's -1 times positive 35? Is that negative 35? Yes? Let's go. Number 11. What's the answer? Positive 18? Positive 18. Next, let's go. Continue. We gotta keep going. All right, here we go. Number 12. Multiply this out. Folio lit. Six times 4. Well, 6 times 4. 24. 6 times negative 3i. 6 times negative 3i. Is that negative 18i? So treat I like a x variable or something. So it'd be negative 18i. And then we got what? What's next? Negative 5i times 4 is what? I'm going to put it right here because it goes with this one. Negative 20i. Yeah? And then a negative times that. Negative equals a what? Positive what? 15. And then we got what? I times I is I squared. All right. You can do it whichever way you want to do it, but let me show you how to do this fast. I know that it has to be in the real comes first, then the imaginary. So look up here. What is I squared? We said, what is I squared? You just have to remember it. I squared is negative 1, yes? So negative 1 times 15, so it's going to make this negative 15, yes? So then 24 minus 15. 24 minus 15. That's the way I do it. If you want to go step by step, go ahead. But it would be what? 24. And this is going to be minus 15. If you want to put it there. And then this is going to be what? Negative what? 38i. So you could have just done this. What is that? What? 9 minus 38i. I don't know how long does this go. Let's go number 13. I think we're almost done here. I think that's it. I hope so. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 3i is positive 12i. Negative 9 times 4 is negative 36i. I'll put it here. Negative 9 times 3 is negative 27. I times I is I squared. This pattern follows all the time where this is going to be negative 1, and then a negative times a negative is a positive 27. 27 plus 16, 27 plus 16. 43? 43. And then what is that? Minus 24, right? Ooh, we're done. All right, so that was it. All right, so.